First off, let's not make any mistakes. I'm not here to tell anybody what they should do. If you're a consenting adult to make adult decisions, you do whatever it is you feel like you need to do. All I'm here to do is to let you know my opinion, my experiences as a young father, and then you just go ahead and put two and two together. I had a conversation with a young lady a couple of years ago. She was about 22 years old. And she didn't have any kids or anything like that. No attachments, no nothing. Just going all over the place, traveling, just a ball of fun. And I remember we were working out and I told her, yo, hold off until having kids a little bit later in life. Enjoy your time, enjoy your freedom, because everything changes after you have kids. Lo and behold, 4 weeks later, I get a text message and she says, I'm with child. I'm like, first of all, who the heck still says I'm with child? Like, wow. So I'm like, didn't we just talk about this? So now her kid is like 2 years old now and she's getting a taste of motherhood and for many, many years to come. Me and my wife, we had our first child at 20 and 21 years old. So neither one of us had any type of foundation, didn't establish anything. Neither of us had been to college. She went to college for a little bit and decided that it wasn't for her. And I didn't go at all, but I just jumped straight into the workforce, after school. Both of us still staying with our folks. We were just two young people who thought that they knew what they wanted out of life. Around this time, having a baby was just the thing to do. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, I'm in my head. I'm thinking, you got a baby. All the girls are probably going to be wanting you. And she's up here thinking that she's just, this proud woman. She's got a child, when in actuality, you can't do anything. You can't do anything when you have a child. The world revolves around that child. Not you, not your partner, just that baby. One thing I just wish that younger people would comprehend in their mind is that you just brought a whole human into existence. You brought a whole child here. Airplane. Not a drone. Airplane. You brought a whole child into this world. Life as you know it is about to change. You're not going to be able to do everything in which you were doing previously. It's just not. Your life's changing. There's no getting around it. There's just no getting around it. As a father, I wish I could sit up here and tell you that I could just move the way I wanted to move or do the things that I wanted to do. When you truly love your kids and you're really doing right by them, you really can't do much. Now, I'm not saying you can't slip away here and there, but then you have the burden of having to find a sitter, somebody to watch your child, and you got to come out of the pocket to pay them if it's not a family member. And even sometimes then you still got to pay your family members. You want your little sister to watch your child, or your little brother, or your mom, or whoever. It's only right that that you pay them a little something. But we blessed that my grandmother and my wife's mom and her grandma helped us tremendously take care of our children. Like, our kids have never been in daycare before, none of them. And now they're all in school. My oldest is about to graduate high school. The two younger ones, a couple of more years of elementary, and then before you know it, they'll be graduating soon. But I was just talking to my wife about 30 minutes ago, and I told her, I said, people think that this is easy. Like, they think that just having a baby is just fun and just a beautiful thing, which it is a beautiful thing. But remember, you're bringing an entire human being into existence. It's another plane. I stay next to an airport. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? Hopefully I can relocate sooner. But you bring in another child here into the world, things are going to be altered, okay, to say the least. And me and my wife were just talking about this 30 minutes ago, and we were like, we just now have gotten to a point in our relationship where we can move the way we want to move. If we want to go out on a date, we can do that. If we want to go shopping together without the kids now, we can do that. If we want to go to a party, we can do that. If we want to go out of town, we can arrange that and make that happen. And one of the biggest reasons we can do that is because our oldest is an adult. So yeah, we really can do a lot of things now that we couldn't do earlier on, which is why I always try to tell people who are younger, if you don't have any children, like if you're between 20 and 23 years old, try to wait until you're like maybe between 28 and 31 years old to, decide to start a family. Now, again, do what you want, but this is just coming from somebody who had children at an early age. Like, I wish that I could have done it the other way around. I wish I could have maybe started having kids at 29, 30 years old maybe, instead of 20 and 21, which wasn't a smart choice. It wasn't the right choice, but it was a choice that was made, and I love my kids to death, and I would never change that for the world. So, but I often do tell younger men and women to wait a little bit longer, and the reason is because you need to figure out who you are. Figure yourself out, figure out what you want out of life. If you're in school, finish school, establish your career, get that down pat, get yourself in a position to where you're comfortable, not staying with your mom and your dad, but out as if you want to establish yourself as a responsible adult. Make sure you do that, and then make sure that you get some of that traveling out of your system. Like, go see as much of the country as you can, go see as much of the world as you can, try to have as many experiences as you can before you decide to settle down and have kids. Because again, we weren't able to do that like at all. Like, I kid you not, since we started having children when we were younger, we were able to take 2 mini vacations. That was 2007, and then 10 years later, 2017. And those were like, we had to pull every string that we possibly could. We had to convince, we had to plan, just to make that happen. And then it was only for 2 days. It wasn't really that long because, the people that, maybe in the position at the time that were watching our children, they just, they didn't have all the time in the world. So they were like, hey, can you be back by this? Or can you be back by that? And I'm like, well, sure, yeah, we can be back by this day and that time. We'll just cut short what we have to cut short. So, but I just tell people, like, you guys don't understand. Like, you may want to have children and you're in the moment and you want to, do your thing. But listen, it ain't a game, folks. It's not a game. Kids are a very, very big responsibility. They keep you up at night. They keep you on your toes. They get sick. Sometimes you got to stop doing what you're doing to go get them from school or whatever. They get in trouble at school. And you still have to maintain, a work schedule. You still have to have some sort of social life, although a lot of parents don't really have a lot of social lives because they have kids. I really, really feel for single moms. I don't know how y'all do it. I really don't know how y'all do it. I got a really good friend who's also one of my clients, and she has 4 kids. One of them's adult. 3 of them are I think one is 11, one just turned 5, and she got another one that's 4 months old. And she's like, I want to do all of these things. Like, she wants to do, fitness competitions. She wants to, put her foot on the gas with life. And I'm like, ma'am, out of everybody, you should know that your life is on hold until further notice. And I know some of y'all may not want to hear that, but it's the truth. The only people out here that are still living their life to the fullest, that have kids, are people that are not taking care of their kids. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's people out here that drop their kids off at their mama's house or their grandma's house for the weekend, and they go out to the club and drink and get a little smoke on, and then they go out bed hopping, creating the next child, while they got a whole child sitting over here on grandma's porch while you out do your thing. Constantly just dropping their kids off in everybody's care. And this is how things happen, folks. I'm going to just say it. Like, this is how traumatic experiences happen to people when you leave your kids with just somebody that you don't know. And I don't recommend anybody do that. We have never let anybody watch our children that we didn't know, that wasn't blood related, except for one person. And I knew her pretty well, very, very well. And it was only like temporary, so it wasn't like a long-term thing. But like I said, we had a lot of help growing up. And even though we had a lot of help growing up, we still didn't get to do a lot of the things that couples did. Like I said, we didn't get to travel a lot. We didn't get to do anything up until now. Like, now we are at a point my wife she just turned 40. I just turned 39. We're just now at a point where we can do things, where we can travel and go from different states. We can stay out all day long if we want to. We pretty much can do just about anything at this point. But it took so many years. It took so long to get to this point. And I just want people to understand, like, are you ready for that? Are you ready to, like, put a pause on your life just for a child? And some of you who are out here having sex and y'all ain't protecting yourself, and you doing, what you should be doing anyway. You should be waiting until you're married. Y'all already know where I stand on that. But a lot of y'all are having unprotected sex, and then a child is a result of it. And then before you know it, you have a whole nother issue that you need to take care of. You feel me? One night of pleasure can lead to many, many, many years of you sitting at home while your friends are out having fun. Many, many years of you going to doctor's appointments. Many years of you going up to the school. Like, these are the things that we still are not free of, because even though we have an 18-year-old, we still got two minors. We still have two minors, but him being an adult has helped us out so much. Like, it has helped us out tremendously. And I'm just very, very thankful for my son. We really don't put a lot on him. He does help, but it's not like, hey, son, do this. Hey, son, do that, because we don't want to make him feel like he's raising his brothers, which he absolutely does not do, because even though he's 18, he's still a child in my eyes. He still lives with me. I still feed him. I still clothe him. I still take care of him. I don't think I can really get out of that mindset until he's like completely gone from my home. Once he's moved out, then maybe I'll be able to adopt that mindset of, all right, you're on your own, but as long as you're under my roof, that fatherly instinct is still going to be there to do things for him. So, but here we're coming up on the year 2025, and it's hard out here, folks. Like, I know I've just talked to you all about how hard it is to have a child, but what I didn't mention is how hard it is to do it now, because we started having kids in 2005. All right. Now, gosh, I've seen people make videos and put up posts like, don't have children now. This is the worst time in the world to have children. I don't agree with that. I do believe that it is going to be harder now to do what you need to do with your kids versus way back then, because of, the economic situation and whatnot. But when my son was born, he was born around the time, a couple of years before the recession in 2008. And we all remember, like, if you're an adult, and you remember that it was rough around that time period. It was hard. And then a couple of years later, like 2010, 11, I think it was maybe 2011 or whatever, we had the government shutdown. So it's always going to be economical trials and tribulations. Like, there's never going to be a perfect time in history to have kids. Like, if you want kids, again, please, number one, get married. Get married. Don't let society fool you. Don't let these podcasts fool you into thinking that people ain't getting married. People still out here getting married. It's the safest thing to do if you're trying to have kids. If you have a child outside of wedlock, ladies, it's a big chance you're going to end up a single mom. And as a two-parent household like we have, as challenging as it's been over the course of years, I can't imagine what you were going to go through. So make sure that you're at least married and that you count the costs and that you understand that once again you're bringing an entire human being into this world. Are there things in which you do that you're willing to give up? Do you have some habits that you need to drop that you're willing to give up? You may have to tell your friends, yo, I can't do these things anymore because I got to stay with my son or I got to stay with my daughter. I just have to do what it is I have to do. Are you willing to make those choices and those sacrifices? Because if you're not willing to sacrifice, then you shouldn't have any children. If you're not willing to be patient, then you shouldn't have any children. If you're not willing to do whatever it is you need to do to provide for your kids, you should not have any kids. No child should have to suffer. No child should have to go hungry. No child should have to be dirty. No child should have to look like they're thrown away. They didn't ask to be here. You made that choice. So you lay in that bed and you make things happen for your child. Otherwise, don't even think about it. Go get fixed. Go get fixed. Like, don't have any kids, man, if you can't handle the job. You know, if it's one thing that makes me upset is just deadbeat dads and moms, you know, who don't take care of their kids, you feel me? You know, but, you know, people, they're going to continue doing what they want to do and continue having kids, regardless of the economic situation, regardless of whether they broke or still staying at home with their mom and dad. They're still going to just have kids. And we wonder why we see a generation of broken people. Because when you have kids and you don't raise them properly, they grow up. Oh, often how we forget that they grow up to be a broken generation. But you don't have to contribute to that if you do things the right way. I hope you enjoyed the video. I got many, many more to come, but you won't know it unless you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Comment down below, like the video. Peace.